Hey everyone, and welcome to my tutorial how to make this beautiful daisy granny square headband. You will need to do just 4 daisy granny squares and I will show you how. Also, I'm wearing one now which is made from sport weight yarn, and I prefer to use sport weight yarn or even lighter weight because your headband will look more delicate on your hair. And this one is made from double knit weight yarn, which is look more massive on your hair. I will put 2 pictures here so you can see the difference. Also, I will show you 2 videos with both headbands to see the difference, how it looks, so you can decide which yarn you want to use to make your own. And this headband is made from sport weight yarn. I think it looks pretty, kind of perfect size for the headband. And this one is made from double knit weight yarn. The both are from cotton, and as you can see it looks tiny bit bigger. And I will show you measurements for both headbands. The one with double knit weight yarn, the granny square size is around 7.5 centimeters. This is in inches. And the smaller one made with the sport weight yarn is around 6.5 centimeters, and this much in inches. Now I measure the length without the straps. First for double knit weight yarn headband, and it measures 42.5 centimeters, something around this measurement, and this is in inches. And for the sport weight yarn headband, it measures around 34.5 centimeters, and this is how much in inches. So now you can decide which one you prefer more. But as I mentioned, I prefer more with the sport weight yarn than with double knit weight. To start your project, you will need 3 different colors of yarn. I'm using Drops Saffron sport weight yarn. It's 100% cotton, and I prefer cotton yarn for my headbands, but of course you can use any other fibers you want. You will need 3 different colors for the middle part of your granny square, for the petals, and for the border itself. Then you will need 2 stitch markers, darning needle for waving the ends, scissors, and I'm using 3.5mm hook with this yarn. It's 3mm recommended on the yarn label, but I went up in a half size, so I really recommend to do the same if you want that more flowy look. And if you use double knit weight yarn, you just use a hook recommended on the yarn label. To start your granny square, you need to grab the yarn you want to have for your middle part. Make a magic ring. I'm doing this way. And chain 1. Now you will do 12 single crochet into the magic circle. Make sure you go under both strands. You insert your hook into the magic circle, grab the yarn, pull the yarn through, yarn over, and pull the yarn through those 2 loops on the hook. And you do 12 single crochet this way around, so at the end you have 12 single crochet into the magic ring. At the end, when you have 12 single crochet, you grab this shorter yarn tail and tighten up the magic circle. Now you need to join your round with a slip stitch, the first single crochet with the last single crochet. You just insert your hook into that first single crochet, grab the yarn and pull it through, and this way you closed your first round. Now you chain 1 and you do very first single crochet into that first gap where your chain 1 coming from, just like that. And now you insert stitch marker into that very first stitch so you can count your stitches easily. And now you do 1 single crochet into every single stitch, and I'll meet you at the end when we have 12 single crochets around. At the end, when you have 12 single crochets around, remove your stitch marker and join your last single crochet with the first single crochet, by making slip stitch just like that. Now you cut the yarn and just fasten off. Now for the petal part, you need to grab the yarn you chose for that part. You can make a slip knot, and now you need to join the new yarn to any single crochet stitch you like. So insert your hook into single crochet stitch, back into the slip knot, and pull that slip knot through the stitch. Of course, if you have any other method to join your yarn, you can use that. And now we can start our first petal. So you need to chain 2. You don't have to use stitch marker here because it will be easy to see where to join your round. And for the first petal, you need to yarn over, insert your hook exactly into the same stitch where you joined the yarn over, pull the yarn through the stitch, and you need to bring that loop exactly to the same height as your chain 2 is. Now yarn over, pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, insert your hook exactly into the same stitch, yarn over, pull the yarn through the stitch, bring that loop to the same height, yarn over, pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, and pull the yarn through all 3 loops on the hook. So you have your very first petal, and now you need to chain 3, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull the yarn through the stitch, bring to the height you have, the same height you have your chain 2, yarn over, pull the yarn through those 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook exactly into the same stitch, yarn over, pull the yarn through the stitch, yarn over, pull the yarn through those 2 loops on the hook, and repeat one more time, yarn over, insert your hook exactly into the same stitch, yarn over, pull the yarn through the stitch, yarn over, pull the yarn through those 2 loops on the hook, and now you need to yarn over and pull the yarn through all 4 loops on the hook. And this way you have your second petal. Now you chain 3, and you repeat exactly the same process until you have 12 petals around your middle part. Now when you have all 12 petals around with the chain 3 in between, at the very end after your last petal, you need to chain 3 and join your chain with the very top of the first petal. And you made a slip stitch, tighten up. Now you cut your working yarn and fasten off. Now you will do the border, so grab the yarn you chose for it, and you can join your new yarn this way how I'm doing now as well. You can insert your hook into any chain 3 space you like, grab the yarn and just pull through that space. Now you need to chain 2, and chain 2 count as the first double crochet, so you insert your stitch marker into the second chain so you will see where to join your round. And now you need to do 2 double crochet into exactly the same chain 3 space. Yarn over, insert your hook into that chain 3 space, yarn over, pull the yarn through, yarn over, pull the yarn through those 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, and repeat one more time. So you have 2 double crochets. Now you need to do 1 more, and now you chain 2 and repeat 3 double crochet into exactly the same space. And now you form the corner, your very first corner for the granny square. Now into the next 2 chain 3 spaces, you do 3 half double crochet in each. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next space, yarn over, pull the yarn through, yarn over, and pull the yarn through those 3 loops on the hook. And you do 2 more times. And repeat exactly the same into the next space. 3 half double crochet into the same chain 3 space. And now it's time for the corner again. So you do 3 double crochet into the next chain 3 space. Now chain 2 and repeat again 3 double crochet into exactly the same space. So you will form the second corner. And now next 2 spaces, 3 half double crochet in each. So 3 half double crochet in one space and 3 half double crochet into the next space. Now you need to do the corner again into the next chain 3 space. So you do 3 double crochet plus chain 2 plus 3 double crochet into exactly the same chain 3 space, and you will have the third corner. Then into the next 2 spaces you will do 3 half double crochet in each, corner again, and a half double crochet again. Let's do that, and I'll meet you at the very end to show how to join your border together. Now when you finish your border, you need to join your last half double crochet with that chain 2 space. You remove stitch marker, insert your hook into that chain 2 space where your stitch marker was, and make a slip knot. And now you just cut that working yarn and fasten off. The only thing you need to do now, weave in all the yarn tails into the work, and you need to make 4 granny squares. So let's do that, and I will show you how to join your granny squares together for the headband. Now when you have 4 granny squares made, you need to join them together, and this is how the joining line looks. I usually choose color I want to have for my border around the headband. To join your granny squares, you need to indicate the chain 2 on the corner. So you have chain 1, chain 2, and you will be starting from this chain 2 on the corner on both granny squares. So you can indicate that. It will be easier to see where to join your yarn, and you finish exactly on the same spot here. So this is your chain 1 and chain 2, chain 1 and chain 2, and you need to join with that chain 1, just like this. Now you place your squares like that, good side facing you, wrong side facing another side. I remove those stitch markers because they get into my way, and it's pretty hard for me to do this joining technique, but I will try to show you how. And you need to insert your hook first into that indicated second chain on the corner, on one side into the back loop here, on another side into the back loop here. Now you need to grab the yarn and pull those 2 loops just like this. Place this yarn tail under your work so it's not gonna bother you. And now you need to repeat, insert your hook into the back loop of this granny square, the back loop of this granny square, grab the yarn, pull through those 2 loops, and when you have 2 loops of the same color on your hook, you just make a slip stitch. If you're getting too loose, you can always tighten up, and you need to repeat again. Insert your hook into the back loop of this granny square, into the back loop of this granny square, yarn over, pull that yarn through those both back loops, and then you make a slip stitch. If it will be easier for you to do, for me it is, but it's up to you which way you will hold your granny squares and the hook, but I like to do this way. For me it's much easier to do. I insert my hook into that back loop here, back loop of another, and over, pull through those 2 loops, and then make a slip stitch. I will show you one more time. Insert into the back loop of this granny square, the back loop of this granny square, yarn over, pull the yarn through those 2 loops, and just make a slip stitch. So you do this way until the corner, and your last joining stitch will be here, where is those chain 2 on the corner, but the first chain on both granny squares. When you join your both granny squares, you can see the joining line kind of in the middle, and this is the front loops on both sides, so it gives that kind of frame for your seam. And now you just chain 1 at the end, tighten up, cut the working yarn, and just fasten off. So you need to join all the granny squares this way, and you will have 4 squares in a row. And when you have all granny squares joined together, you need to weave in those yarn tails into the wrong side of your work, and we're gonna start doing this part. When you finish weaving in all those yarn tails, you need to position your work like this, and now you will be joining new yarn into this chain 2 space of the granny square. Join the yarn, chain 1, and make 1 half double crochet into exactly the same space. Place a stitch marker into that first half double crochet stitch, and now you need to skip the next stitch, which is usually tucked into the corner, is this one right here, and you will make 1 half double crochet into the next stitch. So skip this next stitch and 1 half double crochet into the next, and now you will be making 1 half double crochet in each stitch across, so you will have 13 stitches in total, 13 half double crochets across, and your last half double crochet goes into the next chain 2 space on another side. I finished my first row. Now you need to chain 1 for the second row, turn your work, and you will do 1 half double crochet into the very first stitch where the chain 1 coming from. Place a stitch marker into that first half double crochet. Now you will do half double crochet decrease, so you need to yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, grab the yarn, pull the yarn through, insert your hook into the next stitch, grab the yarn, pull the yarn through, yarn over, and pull the yarn through all 4 loops on the hook, and this is your decrease. So you decrease the second and third stitches. Now you will do 1 half double crochet across until you have 3 stitches left at the end. Now when you have 3 stitches left at the end, you need to decrease the next 2. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, grab the yarn, pull the yarn through, insert your hook into the next stitch, grab the yarn, pull the yarn through, yarn over, and pull the yarn through all 4 loops on the hook. So this is your decrease at the end of the row, and now you will need to make just 1 half double crochet into that last stitch where you had your stitch marker. And this is your second row complete. You should have 11 half double crochet across. Now you need to chain 1. You repeat exactly the same as for your row 2 with decreases. 1 half double crochet into very first stitch, decrease the next 2, then 1 half double crochet across until you have 3 stitches left, and when you have 3 stitches left, you do 1 decrease and 1 half double crochet into the last stitch, and you have your row 3 completed. Now you need to chain 1, turn your work, and for this row you do 1 half double crochet in each stitch, so you will have 9 half double crochet across, the same as for the row 3. Now at the end of the row 4 you chain 1, turn your work, and you do exactly the same decreases, 1 half double crochet into the very first stitch, decrease the next 2 stitches, one half double crochet until you have 3 stitches left. I have 3 stitches left. I do 1 decrease and then 1 half double crochet into the last stitch like this. And at the end of this row you should have 7 half double crochet across. For the row 6 you chain 1 and you do decrease row as well, 1 half double crochet into the first, decrease the next 2 stitches, one half double crochet into the next stitch, decrease the next 2 stitches, and 1 half double crochet into the last stitch like this. At the end you should have 5 half double crochet across. Now you need to chain 1, turn your work. Now you will decrease the very first and the second stitch, so yarn over, insert your hook into the very first stitch, pull the yarn through, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull the yarn through, and finish decrease. The next stitch is just 1 half double crochet, and you will decrease the last 2 stitches. Now you have just 3 stitches here. You just need to chain 1 and fasten off the yarn. And you have your first side done. Now for the next side you will repeat exactly the same as for the other one. Just at the very end, do not cut the yarn, do not fasten off. You will continue working the border and the straps around. Now when you finish your last row, you need to chain 1. Your work should face good side to you and the wrong in the back. You chain 1, turn your work, and insert your hook into the last stitch, into the third one, so you have 1, 2, and 3. You insert the hook in that third stitch, grab the yarn, pull the yarn through the stitch, and pull the yarn through the loop on the hook. So you just made a slip stitch. Now you need to chain one and turn your work, so your good side facing you again. And now you just chain a chain that is long enough to wrap around your head and tie around the back into a little bow. I did 57 chains, but you can wrap your headband around your head and to see if it's enough. And I'll meet you at the very end when you finish your chain. Now I finished my chain. I did on a loose tension, and now you need to skip one chain and make a slip stitch into the next. So you just insert your hook into the next chain, grab the yarn, pull it through, and pull it through the loop. So you have your slip stitch, and you need to do one slip stitch into every chain until you reach the very end of the strap. Now when you finish your slip stitches back through the chain, you need to join your chain with a slip stitch with a headband. So you just insert your hook into this space and you make a slip stitch. Now you will be working the border. You continue with exactly the same yarn, and you will be making single crochet border. So you just work into those turning chain spaces where you can see a little gaps, and try not to go too far from each single crochet stitch, so your headband not tighten up too much at this part. And you just do those single crochet until you reach the granny square. And when you reach the granny square, you need to do one single crochet into that chain 2 space, the corner of the granny square. And now you will start one single crochet in each stitch across. So you just do one single crochet across here, and then one single crochet into the seam. Don't forget to do single crochet into this gap, seam, and then into gap again, and just repeat until you finish at this side. Now when you finish on another side, your border should look so far like this, and you finish at the corner of those 3 last stitches of the last row for this part. Now you need to join your border with a slip stitch with that middle stitch. So you make one slip stitch, and now you chain a chain exactly the same as for this side, the same length. I did 57 chains, so I will do 57s here, and you need to slip stitch back across this chain, and I'll meet you at the very end when you finish that. Now when you finish your slip stitches on that chain for your strap, you need to join your strap with the headband. So you insert your hook into this corner stitch and make a slip stitch. Now you repeat exactly the same process as for another side. You need to make one single crochet into those gaps where you can find them, and you're making one single crochet across these stitches into the seam and until you reach this side of your headband. And when you finish your border on this side, you finish here. You just need to go with your hook into the middle of this strap and make a slip stitch. Tighten up, leave a longer yarn tail, cut the yarn, fasten off, and the only thing you need to do, just weave in all those yarn tails and your headband will be done.